Hey guys, how's it going? And thanks for coming. I'm Nick and this is Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money because you know schools aren't. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos and follow me on Instagram for some bonus content. So let's get started. So for this video, guys, kind of going to be a fun one. I wanted to, because I know you guys like talking to you about my personal investments, my stocks, my holdings, and all that type of stuff. So I was thinking, because I was really looking into my swing trade positions kind of. So for this video, I wanted to go over 3 stocks that you could look into swing trading. I actually have a bonus one at the end that I just thought of. So a total of 4 and even an extra little snippet at the end. So we're going to be talking about swing trading for this one. So swing trading is relatively on like the shorter term aspect of things, but you can still make money in it. And there are multiple factors to this. Now, one of the main swing trades that I made, it was a couple years ago, was with Wells Fargo, when they had a bunch of fraud accounts being opened for their credit cards and all that stuff, and the stock got slammed because that's a horrible thing. But it's Wells Fargo, it's still a bank, so I'm like, it's just gonna rebound. So that's what I invested in. It rebounded a bit and I made some money. A funny aspect to that, actually, I went to a financial advisor just to get their perspective. It was like, hey, what could you do for me? And they tried to scare me with Wells Fargo. They're like, something bad could happen like that. And I'm like, oh, well, actually, I made a couple bucks with them. And they're like, oh, that's nice. And I'm like, yeah, it is. So just realize, guys, that when people are kind of looking bad at a stock, that's what should make it even more interesting when a stock is lower than expected. Because normally, if it's a good company and everything, it's just going to rebound. So let's just get right into it. My first main swing trade I started getting in a few months ago is FedEx. FedEx, the reason why they dropped were 2 main reasons actually. Was their earnings was less than expected, and also Amazon started talking about them getting into their own shipping space. So that just kept hitting the FedEx stock, and you can see got down below the 230 level. I got in 230 exactly. And since then, it's rebounding. It's going to kiss 250 soon. Now, I really liked this trade because there were multiple factors hitting the stock down. One was the earnings, and if something gets hit from earnings, it usually rebounds a little bit afterwards in the near future. But also with Amazon talks. Now, yes, I do agree that possible long-term aspects for FedEx, there are risks to that. However, in the short term, I definitely realized that it was going to rebound, which they have been. So I got in at the 230 level. Right now, it's kissing 250. So I actually already made just over around a 7.5% return. Now, that's not crazy or anything, I realize that, but if you look at like the history of the stock market, 7.5 is actually decent for like annually. So getting 7.5 in just 2 months is pretty solid. Let's move right along into something else that probably everyone got into recently, which is Facebook. They took a nasty plunge due to their earnings. They dropped 20%, even a little bit more than 20% afterwards, a couple days after. So I got in at the 169 level. You could see they are at 176 currently. Kind of been a rocky road, but is still relatively low compared to the levels where they were at. So like I said, with their main reason was due to their earnings. Now, yes, in the coming quarters, they are expecting revenue to decline because they are investing in security and privacy for their company of Facebook. And of course, with Cambridge Analytica was the other drop. If you swung trade that, going back to the chart real quick, you could have made nice profit there. Now, this rebound might not be as quick, but I do realize that there probably is going to be a rebound. So, like I said before, I got in at the 169 level, and I made over 3.5% already. It's only been a month. So I do think that it's going to take a little longer, but this in like few to several months, even a year. Now I'm probably not going to technically swing trade this. I might hold it for the long term, but you could definitely swing trade this because it is low and you could get out when it starts rebounding. Getting into the third stock, kind of similar, which is a lot of people are getting into it, especially with Chinese stuff going on, which is Alibaba. They have been down for multiple reasons. You can see they are kind of at a low point at the current levels. They're around 178 right now. So Alibaba got hit for a couple reasons. First, recently was their earnings. They kind of got hit a little bit there, but mainly the most significant reason why they're down is the tariffs and trade wars with China. This makes it risky in the short term because no one knows what's going to happen with the tariffs. It can go lower, but just realize is this going to happen? No one knows, like I said. But if these tariffs or trade wars blow over, this stock is going to rebound like crazy. And you could see that these levels are all over the place. When there was good news on tariffs or good news on trade wars, this stock jumped definitely a few percent in just a day. So this might be a little bit more risky one just because the certainty right now, there is no certainty whatsoever. It is getting a little bit stronger. I got in at a couple levels with them. Again, I might not technically swing trade this one. Definitely a longer term play. But first I think I got in around low 180 level and recently got in a little bit more around 174. But I mean, I don't like to go off of analyst numbers, but this could definitely be like a $200 stock. So yes, it's being held down by these tariffs. But if it does rebound to the levels that it was at, it could definitely be an over 20% gain. So I'm just going to keep spitting them out, guys. Moving on to the bonus stock, our fourth swing trade that you could look at is Starbucks. Now, this is kind of similar to FedEx like we saw before. They got slammed due to their earnings. Their growth is definitely not what it used to be. Their same-store sales are kind of flat, and their international growth wasn't as large as expected. So they got slammed under $50. So if you actually got in at those levels, you could have rebounded, and you could see from that last little section on the chart could have made over 8%. Now again, with Starbucks long term, it's kind of like, their growth isn't fantastic. If you're looking for growth, I would honestly just look elsewhere, but that could have been a nice swing trade. So like we've seen, there could be multiple reasons why a stock gets slammed for multiple reasons. One main reason could definitely be the earnings. Maybe less than expected growth. Like Facebook, normally its revenue growth was around 40. They're expecting it to be 18. So that's why a lot of growth investors definitely shot out of that stock. But with earnings, next, news like the tariffs, Cambridge Analytica with Facebook, like I said before, Wells Fargo. If stuff's going on, bad stuff, or maybe like a lawsuit could happen. I know that happened with Google a couple years ago. That could definitely be an entry point. In my last little snippet, I actually talked about in one of my last videos 3 stocks that I'm buying for September. I know it's not September yet. The stock is still low. I'm not going to tell you guys. I did talk about it a couple times on this channel. It's in the solar sector. If you've been watching me, you know the stock I'm talking about. But if you want to check that video out, I'll leave a link in the description. It also is a collaboration with 2 other YouTubers. You probably know them if you're part of the financial community and all that stuff. So check that one out. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. Do you like this type of stuff? I know there are a bunch of long-term investors, but a lot of people swing trade as well. Right now I'm still mostly long-term, but you could still make some decent money in swing trading. So if you guys liked this setup, kind of just spitballing some interesting stocks out there that could rebound in the short term. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see ya in the next one.